Hi everyone, I wanted to clarify something. I got a couple of emails regarding that March 8th date. Now for those of you who don't know what the March 8th date is, that's the date that everyone is pretty worried about. The FBI is supposed to shut down the internet. Now that's not exactly 100% correct. I'll read the article and I'll try and explain what it's actually going to do, and what's supposed to happen, and what's you should be worried about, what you shouldn't be worried about, and why this is pretty important. But it's not the end of the world, folks, but it can be a problem for some people. Now, before I read the article, I just want to tell you, I've been working with computers since the 1980s, so I'm going to try and explain it in pretty much layman's terms for you, because reading the article really doesn't help people that aren't familiar with all this technology and all the terms, especially about viruses and stuff. So it says, will the FBI be shutting down the internet March 8th? First of all, that whole the whole title is a misnomer, because you can't really shut the whole internet down. The internet was made in a way that you really can't break it. Okay, but a lot of people on that date might have problems getting to certain websites. And that's what the real title should be. It says, what can you tell me about the FBI shutting off the internet for thousands of users on March 8th? See, now it's not just shutting down the internet. Now it's just shutting down the internet for thousands of users. Okay, so they clarified that a little bit. It says the sometimes salacious kill switch headlines about the story can easily give readers the wrong impression if they don't dig a little deeper into the details. The FBI actually stepped in to ensure lots of folks didn't suddenly lose their ability to surf the web last year, and those safety measures are set to expire on March 8th. Now what they did is they put up like backup servers, backup systems, backup computers, whatever you want to call them, and those backup systems will be shut off on March 8th. Now I'm going to read and explain why that's important. It says last year a group that had infected over 4 million computers worldwide, with an estimated 500,000 in the U.S. with what is called a DNS changer Trojan, was brought to justice. So there's a worm or Trojan out there last year, and it's called DNS changer. It's a Trojan virus, and they pretty much capped it. You know, they pretty much shut it down. It says the primary impact of this infection is that it caused web surfers like you and me to be sent to fraudulent websites by changing what is called the DNS settings on the compromised computers. So if you type in www.amazon.com, you could be sent to, let's say, a Viagra ad or something crazy like that. I'm just giving an example. It says the domain name system is the backbone of the Internet's address system, and the DNS server is special computers around the world that act as the Internet traffic cops, providing direction to websites that you wish to visit. For instance, when you type in www.datadoctors.com, I used Amazon.com for the example, in your web browser, your computer sends the request to the DNS server usually associated with your Internet service provider, which translates your human-friendly text request into actual numeric address for that website. So the Internet actually sees that www.amazon.com has a series of numbers, but it's much harder to remember numbers, so they make it text for you and me. It's called the IP address. If your computer was infected with the DNS changer Trojan, now there's a way to scan your system, people, and I suggest everybody scan their system for the latest updated virus software, and that should take care of it. A lot of people do not have their system scanned. A lot of people don't even know how to scan their system for viruses. That's why all these stores, these computer stores, take advantage of these people, and they charge them $100, $150 to do a very simple thing. Just press an enter key on your keyboard pretty much, and I've seen that happen to a lot of people. So just scan your system with AVG or Malwarebytes, or there are a whole bunch of antivirus softwares out there you can get, and make sure they're updated. It says the domains, it says, for instance, if you type in, okay, wait, if your computer was infected with a DNS changer Trojan, you are being sent to a rogue traffic cop and would send you to a virtual dark alley to be mugged, pretty much. It has also made sure that you couldn't get to security sites that had tools to help you clean up your computer. So what you have to do pretty much is first make sure that your computer is clean by running the latest antivirus software. I use AVG free, the free AVG file from antivirus software. Then it says they decided to get a court order allowing them to replace the rogue DNS servers with legitimate stand-ins so that all the infected computers wouldn't get cut off without giving them time to get the word out. The court order runs out on March 8th. So anyone still infected with the DNS changer, that being companies or individuals, will no longer be able to access the internet because the temporary DNS servers will no longer be online anymore. So that's pretty much the whole ball of wax. These computers that are clean will no longer be online. And what will happen on March 8th is that if you didn't scan your system and the companies that have these servers up didn't scan their systems, then March 8th there'll be no internet cops out there, so to speak, and you won't be able to go to the website. So the world's not going to end, but if you go to, let's say, a site, let's say Amazon.com or, I don't know, Twitter.com or any of the popular websites, and it affects those computers or those servers, you won't be able to get there. It'll send you somewhere else. So that's what pretty much they mean. It'll break the internet. So you can see that the characterization of the FBI using a kill switch to cut all our citizens off from the internet is pretty inaccurate. If everyone that's infected by this Trojan cleans it up before March 8th, and that's what I was saying before, make sure your system is clean, make sure you run an antivirus software. I run antivirus software every day. No one will have a problem. But the infection is so widespread that it isn't likely to happen. Okay? Both Windows and Mac OS users are at risk for this infection because it exploits your browser, not your operating system. If you are somewhat technical, you can do it self-check of your computer to make sure you're not infected by comparing your computer's DNS settings to the list of rogue DNS servers. So there's a whole bunch of things here you have to check, and I'll be linking you to this article. You can check it if you're technically savvy. I don't want to get into it right now, but it says the FBI has published a decent guide to performing a self-check, and if you aren't comfortable doing the check yourself, make sure you consult a tech-savvy friend or professional to avoid getting cut off on March 8th. So, your computer's not going to explode. The internet isn't going to break. It's just one of those glitches that you're going to come across. You're going to go to one website, and it's not going to let you get there, and it's going to send you somewhere else. And that's pretty much breaks the internet, but it's not going to really break the internet, if you get my drift. So let me link you to this, and that's what I wanted to pretty much clear up. A lot of people are worried about it, and it is a problem. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not a problem. It is a big problem, because I know a lot of people do not check their servers and do not check their computers and do not scan for viruses or anything. And for those people, yeah, you're going to run into a lot of problems. In fact, this could cause a big issue for a lot of companies, but the world isn't going to come to an end over this, but it's not going to be good. So the link is below, people, and I thought I'd clear that up for a couple of people because they got a couple of emails about it. And being I have been with computers since the 80s, I thought I would answer those questions. Take it easy, people. Bye.